All right, welcome to WordPress. We're going to go over the interface a little bit with you and just kind of go point by point through each of these. The dashboard isn't something we're going to cover really in depth because it's probably more for bloggers or people that are writing content on WordPress a lot. But it's basically just a section full of widgets where you can have quick access to some of the deeper parts of WordPress from a front page, more or less.
Right, so we're going to start here by talking about the post. The post is basically when we're making a blog post, it's going to post generally to the blog section and anywhere else that we send it to. It can also post to the front page if our blog is displaying on our front page. It's really simple. You have two different things there. We have add new and categories. We also have tags. Our categories are going to be like if we have, give me a good example of a category.
Well, let's go into the actual edit page first. This is just going to be the first area is just a listing of all the pages the posts, that you have. So if we go into edit this default page, which is the Hello World page, we can see what he's talking about. There's the title, there's the permalink, which is the actual hard link that your page or post is located at, the actual content of the site, which is right there. And then on the right sidebar, there are a couple things. You can publish an update, pick a format, which depending on the theme, that can do different things. But the more common thing is for categories here. So you want to say this is in web design or web development or whatever. You could add a new category or select an existing category. And that could be set to display on the blog in different ways depending on how you set it up.
Yeah, and then down there below, we also have different tags, which are kind of going to be like when people are searching for our blog post, what are the specific words they're searching for that this blog post is going to show up under. And it's going to have the most used tags, which are different tags we've used before in our previous posts, so it's easier to get to them. And then below that, you have the featured image, which is going to display at the very top of your blog post. And if you have a page that's listing multiple blog posts, it'll be the image that shows related to that blog post.
Well, let me clarify there. The featured image is something that once we get into the back end to coding, we can set it to display at the top of a blog post. We could set it to display at the bottom of the blog post though by calling it there, or we could set it to not display at all, or just be a little thumbnail. So that's something that we have control of as coders in the back end. But that's an option that you can give the users on the front end to just add the image, and then it automatically formats however we set it up to be formatted. That's the majority of it for this. The editor is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. It's like a lot of word processors. You also have the option to have the text editor back here, which just lets you code in straight HTML. So developers use that pretty extensively. One thing to keep in mind: if you're only seeing this list of options, you can toggle this bottom toolbar here, so you have more options available to you with the WYSIWYG editor.
Yeah, and right there in the top left corner, the last thing you have is your Add Media section. So if you need to enter any of your pictures or anything else like that that's going to go in your blog post, you can just grab them and drop them in here, and you'll be ready to go.
Right, or you can also select from existing stuff. Once something is uploaded to WordPress and you put it in a blog post, it's then stored in your media library, and it's there until you delete it or forever. So you can always go back and use a picture 3 or 4 times without having to re-upload it every time. That goes right into the next one, which we're not going to have a whole separate section on it, but that's the same basic option as the media library, where you can access things. Within the media library, there's also some little bit of editing options where you can crop photos and whatnot. That's probably not used very often.